Robert Biden Jr., we charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide.
Approaching the 100th day of Israel's genocidal bombing of Gaza, hundreds of thousands of people from around the United States traveled to Washington, D.C. for another march on the White House, the second such national march to take place since October 7th. Since the last national march, the Biden administration has done everything in its power to make this genocide their own. From bypassing its own rules to send emergency weapons shipments to Israel, using its veto power in the UN Security Council to cover for Israel's genocide, and most recently, deploying its military to protect Israel from the Yemeni resistance. Members of the administration have issued statements paying lip service to the murder of Palestinians, but judging by the mood on Saturday, it's clear that many people have lost their patience.
Biden, you can't hide. You're supporting genocide. You're supporting genocide.
I'm not gonna lie, I very much lost hope with the political political arm. If any change were to happen, it's gonna happen from the people. It's gonna be grassroots. It's gonna be through organizations and news medias that are not very mainstream.
The things he lied about not doing, like over the whole course of this whole issue, I wasn't really surprised, but I can say that he's not getting my vote. I don't think he should be our president at all. We are literally funding what's happening over there. I feel like it's my job to be here protesting and fighting against it in any way that I can.
We're here to show that this matters to us. We will not forget, we will remember, and our vote or our withholding of our vote will be our voice. So if somebody wants our vote, show us that you're going to represent us, not whatever lobbyist, not anybody else, but us, the American people.
Joe Biden has lost almost all support among Arab American voters, just 17% of whom said they would still vote for Biden in 2024, down from 59% in 2020. This could easily cost Joe Biden the election. Take three key swing states Joe Biden won in 2020, Michigan, Arizona, and Georgia. He won Michigan by 154,000 votes, Arizona by 10,500 votes, and Georgia by 11,800 votes. The Arab populations for these states are 278,000, 60,000, and 57,000 respectively. In other words, losing even a small percentage of support among Arab Americans could cost Biden these vital states. Biden's support for Israel has also hurt his chances with young voters, 56% of whom rate his handling of the last 100 days as poor. His overall approval rating has plummeted to the lowest rating for any president in the last 15 years, at just 33%. In the last week, the Biden administration stooped to genocide denial, with members of the administration calling South Africa's lawsuit alleging Israeli violations of the UN Genocide Convention meritless and counterproductive.
What does it mean to you that South Africa is raising these genocide charges, and what are you hoping to see?
It means a lot to me. It means a lot that's coming from a country of South Africa, which experience a rich history of discrimination and apartheid, and the people of South Africa, brave people who went through what the Palestinian people are going through right now. And I'm glad that it's coming from South Africa, from a great country like South Africa. It's not coming from one of the Arab countries around the area. I think they are under the control of the Israelis and the Americans, and I'm really, really happy that there is one country in this world are willing to stand up and say enough is enough. This is genocide, and this is got to stop, and it needs to stop right now.
We have been waiting for 75 years for somebody to submit a case against Israel to stop their brutal occupation, stop their atrocities against the Palestinian people. We have been waiting, and thanks God somebody just heard our voice and finally submitted this. And we are deep in the debt of the South African country and people. And as Nelson Mandela said, without free Palestine, our freedom is not full.
Biden is in a further bind in regards to Yemen. The Yemeni resistance has blocked all Israeli ships passing through the Red Sea, choking off Israel's supply lines in solidarity with Gaza. As president, one of Biden's primary roles is to protect American capital, and he went as far as to carry out airstrikes in Yemen, killing several Yemenis, making it clear to voters that he considers the flow of trade more important than Palestinian lives. But the Yemenis have pledged to continue their blockade and have said they'll start targeting American ships, forcing Biden to decide if he's willing to turn this into a regional war by throwing U.S. forces into the mix. Wall Street and the billionaires are counting on Biden to defend their ships at all costs, but in doing so, Biden would be doing the very thing that his base doesn't want to see the most: U.S. forces being deployed to defend Israel.
Yemen has shown us a country that's been consecutively bombed by 4 U.S. presidents, bombed, and they're facing famine, and not because they don't have the resources or because they're weak, but because they've literally been targeted, and yet somehow the weakest, poorest country in the Middle East has been the one to come to the aid to Palestinians, and not even at the cost of other lives. They haven't killed a single person. They haven't murdered a single person, yet the backlash from the U.S. and from the U.K. has cost them lives. They've bombed their capitals. They went to their homes. They haven't come near our homes here in the U.S., but so Yemen, we are proud of you, we love you, we appreciate you, and we see you.
Shout out, Allah يخليكم يا Yemen, انتم معانا. Shout out to my brothers in Yemen, who are the only country, they don't have their own water, they don't have their own food. Allah يخليكم يا Islam في Yemen, and South Africa. These are the true, carrying on the legacy of Nelson Mandela. These are the true men of the world, the true women who support, and we may different religion, different race, but we're all a part of the human race, and when one part of us bleeds, all of us bleeds.
No one could have predicted that Palestine would be the issue that could make or break this coming election. But in hindsight, is it really that much of a surprise? This is, after all, a modern-day genocide being perpetrated in our name using our tax dollars. For all the lip service US politicians give to upholding human rights and democracy, for some reason they never thought their own support for the genocidal Israeli state would come into question. Biden wasn't actually home during Saturday's march. He was vacationing at Camp David. But if there's any lesson to take away from the last 100 days, it's that this issue isn't going away anytime soon. It would do Biden well to come out of hiding and to face this issue head on, because it's not as complicated as he thinks. Protesters have been offering him a way out since day one, and it's a mild ask at best. Stop supporting this modern-day genocide and hold the perpetrators accountable.